Under the sun, the fields are alive. Cheering crowds and the teams collide. In these moments, we stand tall and free. First pride runs deep in me. With every touchdown, we rise and we cheer. Unity and spirit, the heart of the year. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zone to go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. Girls in the game, they're fierce and bright. Flag in hand, they give it their might. From every town they bring their dreams. On this field of gold, nothing's as it seems. Together we shine, together we play. In Florida's heart, we own this day. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zones go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. So here's to the game, we'll rise and stand. In Florida's field, we're a united band.
All right, it is that time of the week. It is time for the we're hitting the wrong button there. There we go. It is time for the North Central Florida edition of the Blitz here. Josh Wilson along here with Christopher Like. How you doing, my man?
Doing great.
Yeah, it is Wednesday night. Good evening, everybody. Good evening to you, Ellis Hall. Good to see you here. Coming up here on our interview on the show tonight, we'll have RJ Fuhr, the head coach of the Ocala Eagles, joining us. Ocala off to a really good start, 3-0 on the season, and they got a big game coming up against this week against Bradford at home, and Bradford coming into that game 2-1. So we'll talk to Coach more about his Eagles. They're in the Sunshine State Athletic Association's 11-man league in the North Division. And it was last year, he had stepped away after the 23 season, spent 2024 at Union County, but came back here and it just kind of picked up right where he left off at. And we'll talk to Coach more about that here as we roll along here. And Chris, I'm wondering if you got a prop sitting there just kind of lurking around.
I don't right now. I don't.
You don't? Wow. Okay, I'm surprised here, but anyways, let's.
I spent the last couple of minutes coughing like crazy. So.
What?
I spent the last couple of minutes coughing like crazy. So.
Oh man. Oh okay. Oh man. But anyways, as we roll along here in our into the Blitz Lines to talk about some of the stuff that we have seen here and in this past week. Gainesville High, how about this? 20-7 over Crystal River. Chris, you and Rena took GHS in this one. You called it on this one. Are you kind of feeling it? And I know Emory brought up something as well last week, talking about some injuries with Crystal River, and that kind of came to fruition there. And GHS rocked out of there, and now they're 2-1 on the season here. Crystal River also 2-1 as well. But Crystal River's in our Tampa Bay section, but nonetheless. Gainesville picking up a win there.
Yeah, Gainesville, they've been really impressive the last few weeks. I wonder what they have cooking up there when it comes to district play.
Yeah, and they get a district game this week at Lecanto. That'll be a 7:30 kickoff. So that we will start to get our answers here this week with a district game for for the Hurricanes. And by the way, Ellis Hall mentioned here Columbia is still rolling. How about this? 39-0 over Hillsborough. Oh my goodness. Terry Henry disrupted the Hillsborough offense. How about this? 5 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 3 sacks in that road win down in Tampa. By the way, Mother Nature. She had a little field day with that game, but they got it in.
Somehow they got it in, and I'm surprised. It's either Mother Nature wins or we lose.
Yeah, no, you're really right. You're right about that, Chris. And it's one of those things where we just sit there and we're like, oh man. Looking at some of the other games we talked about, how about Trinity Catholic? They picked up a win over Forest. I wasn't expecting that. We all took Forest in our picks, thinking the way Forest started off, but Trinity Catholic, wow, I was a little taken aback by that.
You wonder if they knew what the former coach was going to do. Yeah, I mean,
I feel like you're right about that. I really do.
They knew what they had, and they knew how he was going to call the game. So I got the feeling that's what happened.
No, I definitely think that was what happened there too. How about Trenton over Ocala Christian? And two of us took Trenton. Chris, I knew you took Ocala, but I think it was 21-20 was the final. Trenton is off to a hot 3-0 start, so I got to give some props over to Trenton over there with head coach Bryant Fry in his first year. Tigers are rolling over there, and the Florida Power Rankings Index is the computer's kind of picking up on that with Trenton getting some wins there.
Yeah, Trenton's a good program, and Ocala Christian not a bad team either. And a lot of people are sleeping on them.
No, Ocala Christian, they made the move over to the SSA this year after being in the FHA for a very long time. But Ocala Christian still in the mix there. Could have a chance at a run during the playoffs later in the season. But anyways, Eastside Beholds 29-19. That was the final score there. It was a 10-point game. The forecast called for a 10-point margin, and sure enough, right on the money here. And Beholds gets the win over Eastside. Hawthorne edges Florida High, and then Bradford, of course, 14-12 over South Sumter. So a lot of close games in the in North Central Florida last week.
Oh yeah. It tells you how close these teams really are, and how competitive these games are on a local level, week in, week out, and that's what we want. We don't want these blowouts every week. So.
No, and I really appreciate not having blowouts every weekend, but it really is one of those things where we just stay. We want to make sure that we have we'll be able to see some good games here. And how about speaking of Ocala last week, big winners over Seven Rivers Christian, and that always seems to be a good game against with Seven Rivers Christian when they play each other in the Sunshine State Athletic Association game. And in that game, that final score, if I had it right here for a moment, there we go. It was 52-30 there in that game. And Coach sent me this stat line here, and I'm going to pull it up here because I've got it. I said sitting here. He sent it to me in the DMs on X. Let me. Thought I had it right here. What happened to it? It's kind of the inbox kind of goes a little crazy. There we go. Darius Medley, 6 carries for 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, 29 yards receiving and a touchdown. So Darius Medley had a huge game for the Eagles Friday night at Seven Rivers Christian.
Yeah, Ocala's off to a hot start, and we'll talk to Coach about that. And yeah, they're really rolling on offense over the last 3 weeks.
Ooh, yes. By the way, there's a chat in the chat. They're talking about tea or coffee, Chris.
Give me neither.
I'll take tea, and actually, I'm with Mark Cannon. Give me the English breakfast tea. Thank you very much. A little sugar, and I will be set. So
I'll take coffee before I take tea.
I cannot do coffee. I just cannot do coffee. I have tried, and my palate still has not adjusted. I used to not like guacamole, but I do guacamole now, especially table side at Las Corridas here in Gainesville. But anyways, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, and Ellis Hall, yeah, I do have to mention Santa Fe 2-0 for the first time in years, it seems like. And Ernest Graham, the former Gator great there, he's got he's got Santa Fe rolling. But we'll see as they roll into a big key critical district game this week against Palaca. And that game is actually sitting on our picks this week, Chris.
Yes, it is. And that's going to be an interesting little I wonder who's going to pick who. So.
I wonder too. So we'll have to find out here in a few minutes here. But we're going to take a quick break here. Then we're going to bring head coach RJ Fuhr on from Ocala and talk about Ocala football. We'll be right back right after this here on the North Central Florida edition of the Blitz here on FloydHSFootball.com and the FloydHSFootball.com social media networks.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Touchdown!
Juggled and caught!
I've been thinking about this for a long time. I thought if that's out there, I want to make sure I see it and I get involved in it because to me, this was music to my ears. I was blown away. When you look at today's kid, the millennium kid, they learn by being able to see it. If I can see it, it's a great chance that I can do it. First Down Playbook is a tool that can essentially change the way we teach the game.
All right, welcome back here to the North Central Florida edition of the Blitz. Before we bring Coach on here, we got to recognize our Blitz North Central Florida Player of the Week from Week 2, athlete Cameron Solis from Wildwood, Chris, and was electric with 248 all-purpose yards, and including a 49-yard rushing score, 27 receiving yards, and 20 yards, kickoff returns, and 52 punt return yards, and a very, very close loss against Leesburg. Wildwood just come up short in that game in Week 2, but talk about an athlete when you just separate things out. What a performance, regardless of the score.
Yeah, whether you win or lose, you want that fighting spirit, and Cameron told us that with Wildwood, he exemplified that tenfold. I mean,
absolutely.
What he did against Leesburg, that was impressive.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Now joining us for the interview is head coach RJ Fuhr from Ocala. Coach, good to see you, my man. Glad to see you. We talked at Media Day, but I think you just kind of picked up where you left off at Ocala and off to a hot 3-0 start. But first, just kind of give us some insights with everything, how the season has started for y'all, especially after Week 0 ended that game ended up getting wiped out because Mother Nature had her party out there on the field.
Yeah, we were really excited to play Bell. You know, Joey's a friend of mine, and they're a great, always a well-coached team. Unfortunately, Mother Nature won out on that one. We've been fortunate. We're 3-0, but we're in for a test this week. I've been watching. Told my coaches, the more I watch Bradford, the better they get. They have some really good athletes. They're strong up front. So this Friday is definitely going to be a test for us. And we're very young. Watching film from Friday night, we had 7 kids on the field on defense, 5 freshmen and 2 juniors who this is their first year playing football. So it's a little scary at times, but our kids have worked hard and, they're very coachable and, we're excited for the season, but yeah, we're definitely going to be, it's going to be a tough game on Friday night. Tim Clark, again, he's a friend of mine as well and great coach out of Bradford, does a great job. And they've got some great athletes out there for sure.
I know. Talk about Darius Medley. You sent me the stats on him, and I read it out. I mean, 6 carries, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns in that game against Seven Rivers, and also had a 29 yards receiving a touchdown. Just talk about him and some of the other guys, because I feel like for a small school program like y'all, especially being in the Sunshine State Athletic Association, sometimes there's not enough publicity, throwing towards these schools in the SSAA, and especially the guys. There's guys that play good football at these small schools, and sometimes they just don't get their due recognition.
Yeah, that's I think a misnomer, and maybe sometimes bigger schools that, are I don't want to say recruiting against us, but in this day and age of transfer portal, it's realistic, right? And so anything that they can say about us in terms of, they might say, well, you're not going to get seen, you're not going to be able to go on to play college football. Well, in the past 6 years, we've had a dozen kids go on to play college football. Most recently, Dakota Brower is playing at Penn. He also got an offer from Air Force and Navy. So that's definitely, we've proven that to be wrong or false. But Darius is he's one of the juniors that I was mentioning that he's more of a baseball player, and we're kind of teaching him to play football. He's just an athlete and is extremely fast, has great instincts, just a natural. And so, and then his brother also is a baseball player, and he's a junior that also is new to football. In addition to Darius's 190 yards, freshman Jeremiah Taylor had 126 yards rushing. And then last week against Bishop Snyder, 2 weeks ago, Tyler Pira had 198 yards rushing as our B-back. So, we're obviously we're not going to try and fool anybody. We want to establish the run. That's always a big thing with me is establishing the run on offense and stopping the run on defense. To me, that's where it starts. So we've had some really good players step up, and then it's all led by our quarterback Aaron Akins, senior, has been starting since 8th grade. Was really one of our best receivers the last 2 or 3 years. Also our best defensive back. When we changed our offense, I told him in December when I knew I was coming back, I said, "You're going to be a returning captain, and you're going to be my quarterback." And so his football IQ is off the charts, and his athleticism and toughness. So he's kind of what keeps us going and leads us. He's an awesome kid and an awesome player.
Oh, absolutely.
So you mentioned coming back from being retired. Talk about what have you learned about yourself as a coach in that time off, and when did you decide to come back?
Well, I didn't retire. I was at Union County, so I was coaching out there, and I had a great time. Andrew Thomas was the head coach out there. Unfortunately, he's no longer there. Which
that's a long story right there in itself.
Puzzled about that. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but he's a great coach, and the coaching staff was awesome. I got to coach again with Scott McDaniel, which my first year at Ocala, I coached under Scott McDaniel. He was the head coach. And so I really enjoyed it out there. We made it to the state semifinals against Madison County. It was a great experience for me. But I just missed being the head coach at Ocala. I've said this a lot, and sometimes it's a little bit of a cliche with some coaches where they'll do something, they'll move, or they'll quit and say, I wanted to spend more time with my family. I honestly thought that not being the head coach would give me some more time with my family. My son and daughter-in-law had just moved back from Texas. I have grandchildren, but whether you're assistant coach or head coach, you have the same amount of practice, same amount of film, same amount of meetings. So it really didn't allow me any more time per se with my family. And like I said, I just missed being the head coach at Ocala. And, the good Lord kept the door open for me. And I thank Edwin McTurius, our AD, and Dr. Hutchins, our head of school, for welcoming me back. And, I'm excited to be back. And it kind of feels like I've never left. I was only gone really a semester, the fall of last year. I came back here in January. So it kind of hit the ground running.
No, it didn't feel like it was very long at all. It just seemed like it was a skip, leap, and a jump, basically. It was not very much time, it felt like it. But, coming back to this and everything, with the SSA, I want to kind of hit on that because, it is, y'all have been a part of that for a long time at Ocala. I think when y'all first started out, y'all were kind of like FSA, kind of, and then transitioned to SSA. I know that 2020, that COVID year, y'all played 8-man football just to help kind of keep the team going, and which helped because obviously now look what it's done. 11-man is really strong again there at Ocala. But talk about the SSA, the growth of what you've seen, because there's been especially a lot of growth here in North Central Florida, especially not just teams in the 11-man side, but also the Atlantic League, which y'all interchange and play games with as well.
Yeah, it's a great run organization. They have a meeting every year in January just for football. They have a meeting with the ADs and assistant ADs for all sports, but they have a football only meeting where all the football coaches attend. It's a Zoom meeting. They listen to the coaches. We're FHSA and all the other sports. It's nothing that we have against the FHSA. Obviously, it's just the SSA suits us. It's the private school division has 50 schools in it, and they're like schools in terms of size. They're very strict on recruiting, which is nice because our school is very above board on that. I know that in this day and age, like I said, kids are, leaving here and there and for whatever reason, but, it's got to be done the right way. And the SSA makes sure that, that everything's above board, which is good. And, they hold us all accountable. And it's just been a good league for us. And you mentioned 2020. That's really what got us into the SSA, was because they were the only ones that offered 8-man, and we had lost 7 transfers. Then COVID hit, and we were down to, I think, 15, 16 guys, and we had quite a bit of success up to that point. And so it was, our schedule was going to be really tough. And to be honest with you, it was going to be, too tough of a schedule for 15, 16 kids. So we ended up going, getting in the 8-man in the SSAA, and went to the state championship game and lost by 6 points in the last minute of the game. So it was a great experience for our kids. Obviously if you're going to go 8-man, I guess that was the year to do it. The COVID year was kind of a crazy year. There weren't a ton of games played. And it just allowed us to salvage really the program in a way, because our numbers had just gotten so low with the transfers and the COVID deal. So But it was a 1-year deal. I still have people ask me, like, are you 8-man or 11-man? I was like, we were just 8-man 1 year, just 2020. That was it. So I don't know if that's a jab at me at times or not, but I was like, nope, we were 8-man for 1 year, 1 season. That was it. But it allowed us to, it kind of put a spark in the program, really. I think because of our success and, we've had good success ever since, and continuity and all that. So we're excited. Again, we're young, we're thin, we're banged up. We had 28-man roster, and we've got 5 kids out with injuries. A couple might be season ending, unfortunately. So,
oh man,
yeah. So that's part of it. It's part of small school football. We got a lot of kids going both ways. It's next guy up mentality, and that's all we can do is coach up who we have, who's healthy, and make the best of it.
No, absolutely, and it's really, I don't know, and that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the reality for a lot of small schools, a lot of small programs. They may not talk about it necessarily, but yeah, it's next man up mentality, and it really is one of those things. But I know, and I know Chris has asked this question to multiple coaches, and I'll ask it here because we prefer. This is how have you handled the adversity around the weather? Because I know that has had impacts. With practicing, getting a full practice in. I know that has been a struggle for a lot of coaches this year.
Yeah, I could get on a soapbox here. It's one of those things where lightning, I get, right? I mean, you don't want to mess with lightning, but this wet bulb thing, I just don't understand it. They tell us we can't practice in the weather that we're playing in. Like, how is that better for our student athletes? How are they ever going to get acclimated to the weather if we can't practice in it? We went pretty much the 2 weeks of fall camp. We had 2 practices, full pads. Two practices. Like, how does that make any sense? I don't get that. Like,
I don't get it either, but apparently, this is state law. I mean,
it's a state law, and I would love to talk to, I don't know who made that law, but they certainly, I don't know if they've ever played football because you can't be ready for a game at 7:00 on Friday night when the sun is still out. It's still 100 degrees, and we haven't practiced full pads yet because of the wet bulb.
But it's okay to go play a game in this, but we can't practice in it.
Yeah, how that makes any sense, I don't know. I mean, it's the rule, it's the law, so we have to abide by it. It makes zero sense to me. And we have a lot of kids cramping because they're, we try and do everything we can. I know some schools practiced in the morning, but my thing with that is, but we don't play in the morning. Like, we've got to actually try and practice in it if it's just shells, or we try to do what we can. I mean, we were going 5 till 8, and 5 till 6 we would lift and then hopefully get out. But even like the first week, we still weren't getting out full pads until like 7:00 at night. So then you have an hour or 45 minutes to practice. So yeah, sorry, I just don't.
I get what you're saying. I would like to understand it as well. I understand that obviously so certain things need to be done, but and then the other side that's like, hey, wait a second, hold on, you can't tell us one thing over here. It's okay for a game situation when we're really hitting the pads versus when we're really.
And we're smart about it. I mean, we schedule in water breaks every 15 minutes. We have water bottles and a trainer, at the huddles, at the different stations, if we're in tackling stations, agility stations. I mean, it's not like when I played that where you're like, oh, be tough, you don't need to drink water. I mean, we're giving the kids as much water as they want and need. I think it's just, I think it needs to be looked at. I honestly, because I don't think it's safe for our kids to not get acclimated to it. And then we're asking them to play in it on Friday night. So, but we had kids going down, the first 2 weeks with cramps, and, when you're already thin and you've got guys that are playing both ways, and then they're going down with cramps, it's like, you're looking at the bench thinking, we're running out of people, but we do our best to make sure they stay hydrated, and we're in the best shape they can be. Lightning is lightning. I mean, there's nothing, you don't want to mess with that, obviously. And I guess, we could be like Georgia and maybe get a bunch of indoor facilities built, and
that would be nice. That would be nice. But Coach, we're running out of time here, but you got a couple of fans in the thing. They're saying, I was going to pull it up here real quick in our set. Tyler Kelly saying, go RJ. So you got a little fan club here.
Tyler's a good guy. Yeah. He's out at Union County. So definitely a lot of great folks out at Union County. I really enjoyed my time out there, and feel blessed to be where my feet are now. And I appreciate everything that you do, and I think what you do for high school football in the state of Florida is awesome. And I know you're always looking out for us, so we appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you, Coach, taking some time out of your busy schedule to come on and talk Ocala football, and we'll be hopefully watching what the rest of the season brings for the Eagles here in terms of what the SSA playoffs might look like come late October.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Well, God willing, we stay healthy.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Best of luck against Bradford this week.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. That was head coach RJ Fuhr from Ocala joining us here on the North Central Florida edition of the Blitz here. And Ocala, again, this is what we like to do. We like to bring big schools, but we like to bring the small schools in.
Yeah. Always good to have a conversation with those small schools, and you never know what they're going through, and that was a prime example. I mean,
yeah, absolutely, and
you got kids playing both ways, and it's very commendable what they do. What they do.
No, absolutely. All right, we got to take a break here, 2-minute timeout, then we're going to just come right into it into pick six when we come back on the other side. You're watching the North Central Florida edition of the Blitz here on FloorDHSFootball.com and the FloorDHSFootball.com social media networks. We'll be right back right after this.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with a free ScoreStream mobile app. Download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Juggled and caught!
All right, welcome back here to the North Central Florida edition of the Blitz here, along with myself, Joshua Wilson. That's Christopher Light there with Sunshine making his appearance for the night.
Yes, it is.
And Emery, thank you. We want to bring on these small schools. We want to bring on schools of various sizes. Also, try to work on bringing on some athletes here later on as we can, and to be able to talk about just what these guys are doing. I mean, there's a lot of good athletes out there. There's a lot of great coaches out there. There's a lot of great programs out there, and big or small, we want to highlight all these programs and all these players and everybody just across the board. And then, of course, I talked to our friends at the different various media outlets as well. Just to kind kind of give an insight of what's going on in high school football, and then also we'll do more with girls flag football as we get after the tackle season is over with. But man, that was a great interview there with head coach RJ Fuhr from Ocala.
Yes, it was. And like we alluded to it, when we bring the small schools on, these regional shows that we have, that allowed us to do that. If you have one big statewide show, you're only selective to do so many things. So.
No, and it really, this is another reason why, we did, the last 2 years we started out doing just 4 regional shows, but we also realized at the same time, even doing 4 regional shows, it really, just we to be able to split that up, to be able to kind of just, break this down even further. I mean, North Florida, we took that, and it's now 3 shows instead of just 1. Obviously, got Panhandle, we've got this show, North Central Florida edition of the Blitz, and then we have Northeast Florida. Central Florida, that we didn't really do too much with in terms of changing Central Florida because it was already the counties that were Central Florida were already confined to that, so we were good there. But Gulf Coast, we took that, we split that up, okay, and made it 1 for Tampa Bay and then 1 for Southwest Florida. And then, Space and Treasure Coast, we did, like Brevard County was part of Central Florida. We just kind of moved, the Space and Treasure Coast lined up. The Treasure Coast counties were part of South Florida. We just kind of moved them so that way they had their own show. And then South Florida, obviously South Florida is just a juggernaut. I don't care how much you try to break South Florida down. South Florida is just huge at the end of the day.
Yeah, South Florida is going to be South Florida, and you can't break that up no matter what you do. I mean, you can break it up between Broward and Dade, but that's the extent of it. So.
No, you're absolutely right. That is the extent of it. And, I think I know what time it is. Pick six time here on our picks here. And Chris, by the way, I should bring this up because I haven't talked about it at all here in our shows here, but I did finally get all the records in here. And right now for the season across our 8 shows, you're 105, 63, 62.5% winning percentage. Reno is 101, 65 with a 60.8% winning percentage. I am 113, 55 with a 67.3% winning percentage. So not bad for all of us here as we roll along here. 4 weeks worth of picks that we have made here, and boy, we've all of us have already eclipsed the 100 mark on our picks here. So that deserves a round of applause.
Yeah, that's impressive.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I haven't heard from Mark in a hot minute either. I wonder if Mark had to hop off.
That explained it.
There he is, busy eating twisted pretzels. All right, on the picks here as we roll along here. Up on the picks here for this week is, first up, Palaca at Santa Fe. As Ellis Hall mentioned earlier, Santa Fe is off to a 2-0 start. Palaca 1-2. They did pick up their first win last week against Providence on the road. So, boy, this is a good one. This is interesting. I think this game is going to be one of those games. It's going to test both teams. And Santa Fe's interesting. I'm really, I'm really, looking at this, but I don't necessarily know if I agree with the computer on this prediction. But right now, I kind of understand why it's going this way, because Santa Fe's still in a situation of an unknown. Like, we don't, you've yet blowouts. You haven't played a district game yet. Palaca probably is going to be your first test here in this situation until we get Newberry and Bradford in later this year.
Yeah, Santa Fe, we still don't know a lot about them, but they're winning ball games, and that's what matters. But so in this game, give me Santa Fe to continue that winning.
Well, Reno is going Santa Fe, and you know what? I have a feeling Ernest Graham and those Santa Fe Raiders are going to do that. So give me the Fe for the win. Give me the Santa Fe. Give me Santa Fe. Give me those Raiders for the win. All right. We have And by the way, it's giving Palaca a 91% chance of winning, Santa Fe 9%, but I disagree with that. I think it should be probably more about a 50-50 split, but I digress, and we'll move on to our next game. Our next game is Fort White at Fernandina Beach. Fort White 2-1, Fernandina Beach 4-0 over there in the SSAA. But the computer is saying Fort White 14 over Fernandina Beach here in this one.
I like Fort White, but give me Fernandina Beach.
Well, our buddy Reno is going with Fort White, and I am going to go. I'm going to be on. I'm going. Chris, you're going to be on the island this week on this one. Sorry. Give me Fort White here. I think Fort White has played a little bit better in terms of a schedule here. But again, if Fernandina Beach wins this, hey, more power to them, and it'll give them a good quality win in that situation. All right, our third game up on the docket is Bradford at Oak Hall, and the computer is calling Bradford an 18-point favorite over the Eagles. And it's giving Bradford a 94% chance to win. And, you heard Coach Fuhr say, they are facing a situation with a couple injuries, but also facing a situation that, hey, he said every time he looks at Bradford, it looks like they get better and better. So this one's a tough one, Chris.
Yeah. Give me Bradford. I mean, it's going to be a close game. I think Oak Hall doing a great job, but give me Bradford to win this game.
Yeah, I'm going with Bradford as well. I hate to go against Coach. I love what Coach does there at Oak Hall, but this one's going to be a tough one, and I think everybody agrees. And of course, outside of Mark Cannon, he's going to Oak Hall, but Bradford's been playing stout. But you know what? I think this will be closer than what it's calling for in terms of the 18-point margin. I just think Bradford's just going to have a little bit more firepower in the tank here in this situation, especially if Oak Hall does end up with a couple of those season-ending injuries that wouldn't be necessarily good for them, but we'll see what happens here come Friday night. All right, we have East Side visiting Trinity Catholic. Trinity Catholic 2-0. East Side 2-1, coming off that loss to Buell's. East Side and Trinity Catholic. East Side is a 16-point favorite in this game. 92% chance of winning the game. 8% for Trinity Catholic, but as we've seen, Trinity Catholic looks better than what I think the computer's picking up on yet, but I don't think we've seen the full capabilities of Trinity Catholic yet.
Yeah, I don't think we have either, but I still think East Side probably going to be a little bit better team that than we think that they're playing against. But give me East Side by 3.
Yeah, I mean, this one's tough. I think Trinity Catholic has got some firepower. It's just I feel like East Side's going to come in this one really kind of like, hey, we could have had Buell's last week. If we had just played a little differently, and so give me the Rams here for the win here, Chris. As I bring up the whiteboard. Ellis Hall's going Trinity Catholic. Some people are going to the East Side. It's going to be I think it's going to be a mixed here. Chiefland and Lafayette. Here we go. A good battle, good rivalry. These two teams have fought each other. By the way, I mean, some people are probably like, hey, that 1997 state championship game between those two schools in 2A. Yeah, that was a battle. Chiefland, Lafayette. Chiefland is a 1-point favorite over Lafayette in this game, giving Chiefland a 55% chance to win this game.
Oh, God. You're really going to make me do this. Give me Chiefland.
Really? Okay, Chiefland. Chiefland it is. I am going to I'm gonna gamble a little bit. Give me Lafayette. Give me the L. Give me Lafayette. Give me the Hornets for the win here in this one. So I am going Lafayette. And chat's kind of split here in terms of Chiefland or Lafayette. So we'll see what happens here in our final game of the week. On our pick 6, Baldwin at Union County. Baldwin 3-0. Union County 1-1, Chris. And Baldwin's been playing some pretty doggone good football here. And Union County was supposed to play last week, had a bye week, was supposed to first play Hollis Christian. That got wiped off because Hollis didn't folded up before the season started. Then they were going to have St. Joseph Academy. Then they just they had too many injuries, and they decided just it would better not to play the game. So they agreed, and no one. That was a last second decision there on that one. Put the game on the schedule, then take it back off. So. The chat, Chris. The chat.
I see it.
The chat. Oh boy. But our final game is Baldwin and Union County. So, boy, what are you thinking, Chris? Here,
This is gonna be a good game. Give me Union County.
all right. So you are taking. Man, okay. So our buddy Reno is going with Baldwin. So Union County, you are going with. Boy, this is man, this one's tough for me, but I just don't know. I mean, at this point, I like Baldwin. I like what they're doing. I think the Indians by a hair here, so I'm gonna go roll with Baldwin here. And I'll have to address the question here in a moment. Here, there's a couple of questions here I'll address here, but
yeah, I see that.
But if Eastside plays a clean game, they will win by 21. Eric Claudio says that, so we'll have to see here. But Emery Smith says, did you bet the full house again, Josh? And I don't bet the house.
Never bet the house.
No, and I don't do that. No, because otherwise I'd probably never mind. I'd probably be in the doghouse outside somewhere, or I could be in the cat box. Okay, so as we wrap up here to address the chocolate issue. Okay. So I was going to go out and buy the chocolate, and she told me I didn't have to. She was actually kidding with me. So there you go. She told me I didn't have to. I mean, considering it is after late, and we're yeah. But yeah, it really is one of those things. I totally understand. Like she said, she was joking. She was having fun in the chat. So, but yeah, you can
never go wrong with pistachio ice cream either.
No, absolutely. Ellis Hall, we got one more show. We got the Panhandle Blitz, regardless if we don't have a guest or not. But we're still doing our shows regardless if we have somebody on or we have somebody not on. So. Anyway, stay tuned here. We got the Panhandle Blitz coming on, but yes, pistachio ice cream. I'm still not sold yet, Chris.
You need to try that.
Maybe one day. Ellis, appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all back here in a couple minutes here for the Panhandle edition of the Blitz. We'll be right back right after this.